Mr Chair, I had indeed a question down to the Commissioner further on, which we won't get to tonight, and it indeed asked his view on the merging of the ESF and the EGF, which you have spoken about but didn't give us an opinion on. So if you are in a position to do that, I'd appreciate hearing it. And also, if there were to be a merger, would you see an increase in budget appropriations for the Social Fund? And finally, my other question relates to the timing, and you spoke about the difficulty with the Commission and the Budgetary Authority. What about also encouraging Member States, as soon as they have applied for the EGF, to themselves start putting in place the measures that they have applied for under the EGF, because that at least would ensure that workers would not be waiting for the application of the fund? Thank you.
President, honourable members, I am glad in the discussion I heard a confirmation for the objectives of the Commission in this exercise to bring the EGF into the next financial perspective as a stronger and more effective instrument to support workers who would be made redundant. I think this case is also supported by the fact that in the forthcoming period fiscal consolidation will remain on the agenda in most of the Member States, and they will find it extremely helpful if there is a strong, quick and effective EU-level instrument to support those workers who find themselves suddenly out of job. Now, there are still, as I pointed to this, some open questions, like, for example, the relation between the EGF and the ESF. But as you know, the ESF is implemented through shared management, and I believe that the management system of the current ESF is not compatible with the objectives of the EGF, and no matter what eventual format we find, I think this question of management will be very important to influence the final arrangements. I am not speaking about the names, but speaking about the need for a separate fund and the need to pay attention to the speed particularly. Of course, even now, and probably also in the future, various Member States will find it possible to fund programmes eligible from both EGF or ESF and have a kind of room for manoeuvre. But I think it is very important just to keep the EGF available for all Member States in case there is a necessity to respond to sudden employment crises. The second question actually pointed to a difficulty to define eligibility in the current regulation, and this is also an issue which we are looking at in order to have a greater level of clarity. But I have to say at this moment we are simply working for extending the temporary regulation until the end of this financial perspective. I am speaking about the rules that have been introduced in response to the crisis and make the EGF more effective against the impact of the crisis on workers. Thank you.
Thank you very much.